not to sue for 3 reasons. Number 1, it's not a good look for a titan of the music industry to be suing because one of your competitors had a super popular song. Makes you look like a crybaby.
Alleges in a lawsuit that UMG permitted content creators such as Kai Cenat, Zeus, No Life Shack, RDC Gaming to monetize reactions to Not Like Us without enforcing copyright claims. He claims this lack of enforcement enabled the spread of defamatory content while generating profits for both you.
Given that it appears his past is about to collapse, Drake was nearly told to sit down and stop talking in a recent contentious court battle. Drake has more secrets than anyone could ever have imagined, and if he doesn't back down, he faces the very real risk of having all of his sinister secrets revealed. Drake claimed in an unexpected 81-page court filing that UMG was attempting to destroy his career by influencing Kendrick's explosive popularity with his diss tracks. But UMG retaliated forcefully, saying that Drake's pain extends beyond the diss songs. His public humiliation after losing a rap battle against Kendrick and being made public is said to be the source of his true anguish. The troubling issue is that UMG has evidence. They contend that Drake, who accused Kendrick of doing the same, employed Piola and bots to inflate the popularity of the songs. However, it goes beyond that. From his purportedly strange interactions with young women to his dubious business dealings, UMG asserts that they have ample proof of Drake's dubious behavior. On a number of subjects that Kendrick accused him of, they even have him imprisoned. Thus, the true inquiry is, do they possess the evidence to support everything? Most significantly, is Drake continuing to pursue his lawsuit in spite of all the evidence that points to his failure? Let's examine it in more detail.
Representing Drake, I would have told him not to sue for 3 reasons. Number 1, it's not a good look for a titan of the music industry to be suing because one of your competitors had a super popular song. Makes you look like...
Drake's antics appear to be finally getting to him, and UMG is doing everything they can to persuade him to stop making the scene, even if it means disclosing his most sinister secrets to the public. Drake accused Universal Music Group, UMG, of promoting Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us, which he claims created a false and defamatory narrative about him in a shocking lawsuit. Drake claims that when Not Like Us went viral and he and his family started receiving threats, things took a dangerous turn. He and his staff were allegedly harassed by people who started to creep up to his flat. The first attack happened on May 7th of last year, only one day after the track collapsed. After being shot, Drake's security guard had to be taken to the hospital for immediate medical attention. By creating a hole in Drake's security fence, a trespasser was able to enter his Toronto home the next day, May 8th, before being escorted off the property by Drake's security guards, who were able to avoid any physical harm. The intruder was allegedly yelling racist epithets and threats. However, it grows darker. According to Drake's lawsuit, Not Like Us was intentionally written to present a false and defamatory narrative, claiming that Drake is a criminal who ought to be subjected to vigilant violence. According to reports, Drake was portrayed as a criminal in the song's lyrics, album cover, and music video. He was also called a certified PDF file and a predator in the lyrics, which further emphasized the notion that the public ought to keep watching him. What could be more eerie? The controversy surrounding Not Like Us apparently led to an effort to further damage Drake's reputation, as seen by the appearance of posters with his face and the word predator all throughout Toronto. Drake claims that UMG was involved in the slander campaign and that the label's actions were motivated by money. Drake claims that UMG and its officials wanted to increase sales by increasing Kendrick Lamar's visibility, particularly after coming to a significant agreement with the rapper. Kendrick Lamar's entire back catalog is under the jurisdiction of UMG's in-scope recordings, and the more people who saw and shared the defamatory video, the more money UMG made. The horrifying question still stands. Is Drake's career coming to an end, Or is this just the start of something much more sinister?
Most interesting points from Drake's lawsuit versus UMG is stated in paragraphs 51 through 53. In this portion of the lawsuit, Drake claims that Kendrick Lamar, back in 2022, signed a short-term deal with UMG. But part of the terms of his deal was that he wanted to see exactly what UMG was willing to do for him. He wanted to see if UMG could push him to the level of their biggest artist, Drake. And he wanted to see them do it in a shorter time period. And if UMG successfully was able to push him to that same level, then he would agree to sign a longer term deal with UMG. Drake is alleging that UMG used this whole rap battle, this whole scheme, this whole plot in an effort to push Kendrick Lamar up higher, get him to sign that long term deal, and that they used their biggest artist, their biggest moneymaker, Drake, to do so. Part of the proof of that comes in paragraph 52, where Drake alleges that Kendrick Lamar did in fact sign a longer term deal in December of 2024. If that is true, if they go through discovery and find evidence that Kendrick Lamar did in fact sign a long-term deal in December 2024, and that Kendrick Lamar did in fact insist of signing a short-term deal back in 2022, and told UMG that I want to see you push me the same way, and I want to see you get me to that level. If that was part of the terms, and they can find that in discovery, then that proves not only a motive, but also malice. Whew. That means that
Just in case you didn't know, Drake and Kendrick Lamar are both under contract with Universal Music Group, UMG. Drake has a record deal with Republic Records, while Kendrick is contracted to Interscope. Drake's belief that UMG has been using him as a pawn in a cruel game to devalue his brand and force him into a bad contract, however, is the big revelation. Things become much more hazy at this point. Given the circumstances, UMG realized that extending their contract with Drake would be costly as it was about to expire. So, what is their plan? Undervalue Drake's music and reputation, which would make it easier for UMG to persuade Drake to sign a new contract on their conditions. Let's go back a little to 2022. Drake struck one of the biggest contracts UMG has ever had with an artist that year, a staggering $400 million agreement that included his visual media, publishing, records, and merchandise. However, Drake is looking for more as that deal draws to a close, something he believes he truly deserves. Since then, he has earned it through his successful undertakings, to be honest. In 2022, he released his 7th studio album, Honestly Nevermind, which included a joint project with 21 Savage. Drake, however, wasn't done. His 8th studio album, All the Dogs, was released in 2023. It came after their collaborative effort, Her Loss. These two projects were huge hits, full of songs that went viral, proving that Drake was at the height of his career. It goes without saying that Drake wants his next agreement to pay more. In terms of sales, Drake is without a doubt one of the most successful performers of our time. According to the circulating rumors, Drake asked for an astounding $600 million for his new contract. But here's the catch. UMG wasn't ready to fulfill that request. Drake probably thought his rivalry with Kendrick would give him more negotiating leverage. He could easily get the deal he wanted if he won the beef, since it would increase the value of his brand. He lost the duel though, and Kendrick humiliated him in the process. Drake claims that UMG saw an opportunity to discredit him and seized it without hesitation. The lawsuit really claims that UMG's actions were far more extreme than what is often observed from traditional methods of domination in the music industry. Using insider knowledge and tactics to control the story, UMG allegedly used every weapon in its arsenal. Drake did not anticipate this battle, and it could have disastrous consequences.
lawsuit that UMG permitted content creators such as Kaisenac, Zeus, No Life Shack, RDC Gaming to monetize reactions to Not Like Us without enforcing copyright claims. He claims this lack of enforcement enabled the spread of defamatory content while generating profits for both UMG and the creators, prioritizing revenue over Drake's safety. This is my question. What about people reacting to the song has
Drake
anything to
submitted
do?
pre-complaint legal papers last year, but they are not the same as his most recent lawsuit. Drake's request for authorization to examine UMG's records and data in order to find proof to support his claims that UMG improperly promoted Kendrick Lamar's songs amounted to more of a fishing expedition. At the time, Drake backed out of the case after UMG, or more accurately, G, called his charges rude and untrue. Drake, however, isn't backing down this time. Rather, he has aggressively pursued a case, and UMG is not taking it lightly. UMG's reaction was swift and severe, labeling Drake's case absurd. In response to Drake's startling disclosures, they made it clear that they would do everything it took to protect their reputation. Additionally, a UMG official stated, "These accusations are baseless, but it is completely absurd that we would wish to damage the name of any artist, much less Drake. Our staff around the world has dedicated many years to assisting him in attaining previously unheard of levels of financial and personal success, and we have made significant investments in his music." Drake has been using UMG for years to market his poetry and music, allegedly getting into ridiculous back and forth rap feuds with other musicians. However, they contend that Drake is now seeking damages from UMG and limiting artistic expression in an attempt to use the legal system as a weapon. The spokesperson said, "We have never and never would have defamed any person or musician by broadcasting their music. However, we will vigorously oppose any action in order to protect our employees, our reputation, and the integrity of artists who may be impacted either directly or indirectly by such a baseless accusation." G is clearly not only defending Kendrick Lamar as UMG battles Drake in court, they are also making it clear that they will not allow Drake to use this action as a means of resolving personal grievances. According to UMG's logic, Drake is also upset over having to deal with the fallout from using these same immoral methods for his own success in the past, in addition to the fact that he lost the rap battle. When Drake's Scorpion album came out in 2018, for instance, a lot of Spotify users complained that the service was forcing their music on them. Some individuals even claimed to have found music they hadn't actively sought, and it seemed like his tunes were on every playlist. Finally, Spotify had to take action. This is the crucial query then. Why is Drake now calling out UMG if he has profited from their promotional tactics for years? Some believe this is because his tactics are no longer effective. Perhaps more significantly, customers began to voice their opinions, with many asking for membership refunds because they felt pressured to listen to Drake against their will.
From a legal perspective, it's an interesting move on Drake's part. Notably, he's not suing Kendrick Lamar, right? He's suing Universal, which reps both of these artists.
So why would he do that?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It seems like a failed attempt sort of not to look petty, not to look like he's suing the artist that just, annihilated him in this rap battle. Let's just call it for what it is. That song is a banger, right? But so, the idea is that Universal.
Carolyn, I didn't know you were a rap head.
I am.
Oh my God,
I'm a
I love
Lamar
this.
stan. I'm a Kendrick Lamar stan. But look, legally speaking, the idea is that Universal has been representing Drake for many, many years, that they know these allegations are false. They wouldn't be repping him otherwise. And the fact that they push this distribution so much, the song has been streamed on Spotify over 1 billion times. They've really been backing Kendrick Lamar on this one. Look, it's unique in this industry. I think it's sort of poetic justice. The song "Not Like Us." I mean, a lot of people in the community are saying, this is not how you deal with hip hop rap battle beef. You go in the studio, you lay down some tracks. this is not what Drake is doing. On legal grounds, I think he's on pretty shaky legal grounds. There's this concept of sort of informed consent. It's when you get into rap battles, you would expect that there's going to be some, back and forth. And there is also First Amendment free speech rights.
It's going to get much stranger, though, so hold on. According to recent allegations, Drake's already complicated life has become even more contentious. Drake and Lucian Grange, the CEO of UMG, reportedly have a unique connection, if you understand what I mean. As these absurd accusations gained momentum, Kanye West stoked the flames by claiming that Drake might have a wealthy baby daddy, and that baby daddy is none other than Lucian Grange. You heard correctly, yes. Drake and Grange's relationship goes much beyond business, Kanye revealed, dropping the bombshell. The industry was rocked by this statement, and everyone began to question if there was more to this connection than first appeared. Is it possible that this explains Drake's seeming favored treatment over the years? What does this mean for the current Drake-UMG dispute? What's more, how much of it is accurate?
Baby daddy is like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian.
So all of his streams and the number ones is controlled.
In that interview, Kanye affirmed Lucian's questionable actions, saying that Lucian is one of those who encourage a toxic culture among Black people for financial gain.
Work for people who control the banks in Africa, who keep,
Oh my God.
Think about it. We had Black Wall Street, we had Harlem, we've been gentrified, and we ain't really been pulled together since, other than to maintain what they call the Black vote, which you don't have an opinion in that vote. And then they get all these celebrities, they go on TV like, we got a problem with his political opinion. He's out of control. He's bipolar. He's anti-Semite. He's whatever they want to call somebody to try to get people to not listen.
However, it is not all. The main point of contention for Drake in his case is the diss recordings from his altercation with Kendrick Lamar. Drake said that the songs on those recordings were blatantly defamatory, accusing him of being a criminal and a predator who ought to be under local surveillance. It doesn't end there. Kendrick further characterized Drake as being extremely problematic, even going so far as to call him a PDF file, which is an informal and derogatory term to refer to someone in the music industry. Here's where it gets even more interesting, though. Accusations of this nature were not unique to Kendrick. For a long time, Drake has been known for allegedly enjoying getting involved with young ladies, even if they are not yet of legal age. The business is full of allegations about Drake's creepy behavior, so this isn't just talk. To further fuel the flames, South African songstress Tyla knew Drake would eventually DM her after she became really successful. And why? For Drake, the creepy old dude, as she described him, is renowned for pursuing young celebrities, particularly those who are so young. He did not let Tyla down by sending her direct messages as planned.
I was low-key waiting for him because I knew, he's gonna come. Gonna come. So I was waiting for that follow, and he was there.
So he followed you on Instagram?
Yeah.
Really though? Any work coming with Drake?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe I'm silent.
When Not Like Us became well-known last year, things took a further turn for the worse. The song's popularity prompted fans to research Drake's past, revealing old footage and images that shockingly showed him in awkward circumstances with girls who were too young to be connected to him. That isn't the worst part, though. Are you familiar with Millie Bobby Brown's widely shared interview? The internet went into overdrive. She described the frequent texting and contacting she and Drake used to do. In their texts, they would say, "I cherish you." Isn't that innocent? However, things took a turn for the worse when Millie, who was only 14 at the time, admitted to the writer that Drake would talk to her about males when she was stressed. People were shocked by this revelation, which caused a great deal of anxiety, and raised serious concerns about Drake's true intentions.
Australia, and he's honestly so fantastic and a great friend and a great role model. You know, we just texted each other the other day, and he was like, "I miss you so much." I was like, "I miss you more." He's coming to Atlanta, so I'm definitely gonna go and see him. I'm so excited. Yeah.
You and Drake? That's awesome. That's awesome.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys. He helps me.
What?
Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
You know, that's.
In his direct messages, he was trying to become best friends with Billie Eilish when Billie was at the top of the game.
I think the most emotional interaction was between Drake and Georgia. I'd be like, he's definitely texted her at 4 a.m. saying, "I need you, girl." Has he never sent you that text at 4 a.m.? No. Oh, man. I've got Drake all wrong.
I guess he's not as emotional as ever.
Drake's performances elevate the position of a role model for up-and-coming artists to a whole new level. Imagine exchanging intimate moments with young artists over direct messages as though you were their best friend, treating it as though it were nothing out of the ordinary. However, the situation of Yoria Smith is a whole other matter. When Yoria was just starting to get legal, Drake dated her. After she broke up with him, he later insulted her in a diss track. Yoria had a brief, passionate affair with Drake when she was 19. He got the number 11 tattooed on his body in her honor within weeks of meeting her since he was so enamored with her. The number, it's for Yoria's 11th birthday in June. However, when asked about the tattoo, Yoria tried to minimize it by saying that she wasn't truly as devoted to him as he was to her. However, this isn't just a tale of a famous crush. It's also about how Drake abandoned Yoria when their relationship ended and took advantage of everything for his own gain. How much lower can he go? After being shot in the ego, Drake headed straight to the studio to lash out, making disparaging remarks. He called Yoria bottom down and jaded, adding, "You're way too outspoken. I must pretend. I must force it." It's clear that he dropped those phrases due to injured feelings. Furthermore, he was not in a hurry to bridge the age gap. He simply said, "You're old enough." However, Kendrick wasn't expressing anything new. It was the same old rhetoric that Drake has been using for years. Why then is Drake pursuing this legal action? It's simple. He's upset about losing the rap battle. However, the allegations regarding Drake's questionable past with these women are well known, and it's difficult to ignore them as the evidence mounts. It's time for you to speak. Do you think Drake's lawsuit is excessive, or is he just intimidating people with his position? Comment below with your thoughts, and remember to check back for the next shocking update.